I still remember the smell, a blend of soap, smoke, and something far too heavy to be human. It clung to the air, thick as guilt. By the time I stepped into that kitchen, the fire was dying, but the pot still boiled, as if refusing to forget what it held. The walls watched. So did I. There was no scream, no struggle left, only the faint echo of a life being erased piece by piece. She'd been meticulous, not angry, not desperate, just practical. A hand on the counter, a shoe near the stove, the clock still ticking above what used to be a heart. And I knew then, whoever did this hadn't killed for survival. They'd killed to become someone else. Richmond doesn't talk much, it whispers. Behind lace curtains, the neighbors told me everything and nothing. They'd seen Mrs. Thomas last Sunday, but then they saw her again, or so they thought, hanging laundry, speaking in her voice, wearing her dress. Only the hands didn't match. The walk didn't match. The eyes certainly didn't. I traced the trail through borrowed identities and boiling lies. Her maid, Kate Webster, a woman with soft manners and hard eyes, had vanished like steam. The neighbors swore she left for Ireland. The police believed it. I didn't. In her room, I found a key wrapped in fabric, still warm, as if recently held. The wardrobe was empty, but the mirror wasn't. It reflected a shape I couldn't name, one that belonged to neither victim nor suspect, but something in between. Deception, I realized, has a scent, and it lingers longer than blood. Days blurred into each other, endless questions, answers that twisted mid-sentence. The maid's handwriting appeared on letters signed Julia, bank withdrawals. Neighbors fooled. Even the grocer believed her alive. But the more she tried to live in that skin, the more it began to rot. I read her notes again and again. She spoke of freedom, of becoming her own mistress. Yet, between the lines, I saw fear, the kind that turns control into compulsion. I started to dream of the river, dark, wide, patient. Every night I'd wake to the same image, something heavy sinking, bubbles breaking like secrets rising too fast. That's when I understood. This wasn't madness, it was method. She didn't just want to replace Mrs. Thomas, she wanted to erase her entirely. No trace, no past, just a new name, a new face, borrowed, stolen, and worn until it fit. But there's one thing killers forget. The dead never stay silent. They haunt through the smallest things, a scent, a sound, or the single eye of a skull that refuses to stay buried. The breakthrough came from the river. A trunk surfaced near Barnes Bridge, its contents unspeakable, yet undeniable. The surgeon said the bones belonged to a small, older woman. But it was the hand that gave her away. Delicate, ring-marked, unmistakably Julia's. When they found Kate Webster in Ireland, she looked almost relieved. She told the police she hadn't meant to kill, that she only wanted to frighten her. But the burn marks on the floor, the blood on the walls, they told a colder story. I sat in the courtroom as she spoke, her voice steady, her eyes hollow. No remorse, no rage, just a quiet acceptance, as if she'd already lived this moment 1,000 times in her mind. When the sentence came, death by hanging, she didn't flinch. She simply looked at the judge and said, "She treated me like a servant. I just wanted to be her equal." And in that silence that followed, we all understood. It was never about murder. It was about power, worn like a stolen dress. I visited her cell the night before she was to hang. She asked if I believed in forgiveness. I told her I believed in evidence. She smiled. "Then you already know the truth." Her hands were steady, her voice almost tender. "You think I killed her for freedom," she whispered. "But freedom isn't what I found. It's what I lost." At dawn, they took her to the gallows. No one wept. The rope creaked once, and then it was done. Outside, the rain began, gentle, almost merciful. That evening I returned to the house. The pot was still there. So was the clock. But for the first time, the air didn't smell of death. Only soap. Only silence. Years later they found the skull, dug up in a garden, pale and cracked from time. The newspapers called it a miracle of history. I called it unfinished business. I'd seen enough cases to know justice doesn't end with the trial. It lingers, in bones, in memory, in the echo of what we choose to forget. People asked me if I felt closure. I told them, closure is a word for the living. For the rest of us, the ones who listen too closely to ghosts, it's just another kind of silence. When I look at that skull, I don't see a victim or a monster. I see two women, one who wanted to escape her life and another who wanted to steal it. And in their collision, something irreversible was born.